I've been going out there for a number of years now, and I'm all, how's that?
No. Turn it on. Better turn it on.
Ted, you shouldn't go away when you start. Where do I turn it on?
Yeah, look that flat.
Is that all right?
Should get a little bit light.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah, as I said, I've been going out to Hanh for a number of years now. And I suppose I shouldn't plug it too high because I go to a lot of other bonsai nurseries as well, but I get really excited. It's very easy to be excited by going out to Hanh because you see these really, really unusual shaped pines. Now, you may ask, I know Ian was going to ask this, so I'm going to get in before he asked wherever he is. Ian was going to ask me, well, that's all well and good that you can do all these great bends on these things, but what's the point of turning a pine into a pretzel? And look, it's probably reasonably valid, but you know, I've gone through just one of my books. We've got a couple of books there. You won't see these all that well, but this is Bonsai Europe. I'll put glasses on here. And I'll try and find a couple that I just thought were interesting to look at. You might see all the fine detail down the back here. Now that's a larch, it's not a pine. But you can see that's been twisted back and forth. Now that's happened naturally, probably in the snow somewhere in Europe, in the Alps, and then been dug out. So we don't really have that opportunity to dig stuff out of the ground like that. There's another one there, that's I think a Mugo pine. And whilst it might look a bit like a pretzel, I'd still love to have it in my collection. So you can come up later on and have a look at some of those. There's some more here. There you go. That guy there. Now, if I go to a show and I'm walking along the benches, I'll look at all the trees, but the trees that I'll actually stop and look closely at are trees like that. They're really, really interesting, and really, that's the sort of thing I'd love to be able to repeat in my backyard. So Hanh is really starting this process off. Now, you're looking at these, how old is this tree roughly?
This one, I think about 11 years.
Okay, about 11 years. So, if we think about these trees in 20 years' time, they will be thicker, the bark will be much rougher, coarser, they'll be really, really exciting trees. So don't look at them so much as to how they look today. Try and imagine how those bends are going to look in 20 years' time. You're not going to be able to get a thick, crackly bark tree in 20 years' time and put those bends into it. So you've got to start at some time. So that's what he's doing now. And from his point of view, if Hanh is buying, say, 100 little seedlings, you've got those small ones. This is probably a bit bigger than what I'd imagine, but if he was buying, say, 100, we've got some seedlings over the back there for sale, bigger than that, but something maybe, and I know he's going to bend this later, but say he's buying
7 mil.
Up to 7 mil?
Yep.
Okay, so he's bending something at 7 mil. If he gets 100 of these at, I don't know, let's say it costs him $3, $4, whatever they cost him, and he bends 100 of them, and I know I've discussed this with him, and the aim is not to have too many specific styles in his mind when he bends them. I said to him, look, just wire them all up differently. Put some really stupid looking bends on them. Now out of that 100, maybe 80 of them will just be pretty ordinary. Maybe 20 of them might die in the process. But the 20 odd that he gets to come to fruition like this, he's value added quite a lot. So he well and truly makes up for all those that either didn't work out very well or those that he killed along the way. And for us bonsai enthusiasts, we get to choose some really, really radical looking stuff. Now, to my knowledge, and I could be wrong, there's not many other nursery people out there doing this sort of thing. Okay, pretty much what's on view tonight is black pines, there's a white pine down there. If you go to Hahn's place, you'll see cedars he does it with. Also, I saw a carokia the other day that has been twisted up quite a lot. But in general, it's mainly just black pines that he's doing. So that's the reason you do it, eh? 20 years down the track, those pretzels will really come up and be really, really interesting material. As I said, if I walk down at a show and I see the typical informal upright, the first couple I'll look at, but after a while you get bored with it. You really want something that's interesting. So that, to me, that's what Hanh is doing for us. He's giving us potentially really nice material in 20 years, but stuff we can make good trees out of now. So before Hanh, I'm going to actually let Hanh get started, because what he's doing tonight, remember what he's trying to do tonight is something that we're asking him to do in 40 minutes or whatever. At home he might take several hours to bed some of these things. So if we get a big snap in the middle, that doesn't always happen. We're putting him under pressure here by getting him to do it quickly. So if things go wrong, that's a factor we're making. You're pushing him fairly hard tonight. So don't laugh your socks off if that happens. So I'll let Hanh start on this one. While he's doing that, we'll talk about some of these in a minute.
So that tree is same height with that tree. So if you leave alone, nothing else happen after the rain will be up here. For me, that's no good. For me, when I work, all the empty, no rain, no nothing. Even when there is going up like this, so I still cut. I don't let each one go, but only the top. I don't want any rain at all. Because when I work like this, very hard, and after that, it build up the trunk, look very ugly. So not growing look like that.
So you understand what he's saying? He's saying he doesn't really want any branches down low at this stage, because they make it difficult to bend and also give him some ugly looking bulges, etc. So he really are keeping the upper branches.
So the people worry about something like that. For me, I cut empty. I don't worry anything about that. So something like this, because when I work it out, it's not enough height you do for the tree. So same or like this. So I work a measurement here. In this one, 500 already. So I turn the other side, this one 500 already. So when I bend, go there like this. So what they got? Nothing. Okay, and then I add tension. This one next year, one more year, the tree roll up a little bit more higher. Okay, and I'm still waiting, a little bit more higher, and more higher, and more higher, something like that. So we can choose like that, and like this. So go another one, and then make quick like this, and go like this.
Which is almost
All different ones.
this right here, which is pretty much what Han's just described.
So then we need to work it out. When I start the tree, small like this, skinny like that. So I need to work it out in 5 year time or 4 year time, the trunk, how much they get thick. So then we need to do something like that, like this, and we work it out. After that, the big how much? Or 50 mil, and the other side 50 mil.
Yeah.
And then ideally touch it. Okay? Don't work too much, go like that.
So what he's saying is if you bend it too tight, you'll end up with those things touches together. Personally, I think it's a huge problem, but that's a fact that he takes into account. Okay, so while he goes through the process of bending these were a couple of trees that I required from Hanh. I'll put some of this stuff on the table.
Why I use a second-hand wire? The wire I already use, and that's the new one. So all the metal, when we put out in the sun, this one, the new one, they're very soft. When we bend, the back. Okay? And then the wire or all the metal, when they hit on the sun, they're more stronger. That's why I need to use the old one. And the new one, very soft. And the old one, more harder. So sometimes, if something like that, you can put in oven or someone else about 200 degrees. This one more harder. That one, when you wiring some small one, okay, you can use the new one. But for me, I use the second-hand one.
Okay, so this was a tree that came from Hanh, and it has been wired similar to some of these here, but it hadn't had the second phase of the wiring which you'll do on this, so it's quite long out here. So basically all I used was the first bend, and at least I've got a really nice bend in here. It's going to be a nice tight little tree. So even if you're purchasing a tree from Hanh and it's got all this stuff on it, you don't have to use the whole height of it. You can cut it off really wherever you want, make the tree out of wherever you want it to be. So if you are purchasing a tree from him, he'll put multiple bends in there, but you don't necessarily have to use the end result right up here. You can reduce them down. So that's what I did with that one, just reduced it down to really the first bend, and I actually tightened up a little bend in through there. Now one of the secrets is these things, the hardest part of bending these things is the first bend. Once you've got a bend in there, over a short period of time you can actually just keep squeezing it in. It's getting that start of the bend in there is the trickiest part. So this bend was in here already in here, and I was able to squeeze it up quite easily, making it a hell of a lot tighter. The other tree I've got here,
That's the first thing, the wire too heavy. When you put it down like this, and you need to hold that one. We need to hold our wire. Otherwise, when you wiring, the wire just like this, they get a lot of damage to the roof. Doesn't good, right? We need this one to hold this one, hold for the wire, and then we go like this.
So why you have that long fingernail arm?
Yeah, that's why. Like always, you know.
okay, so while he's doing that, this was just another one that had the first bend in here, and it had another bend put in there, and it went fairly long out there. So what I've done, I've given myself maybe a couple of options. I can have just disregard all of that and have the tree coming out of this bit here, head here, little tail there. If I want, I could actually cut that off and have another tree there, or I can use both bits. I'll leave those options open for quite some time while this tree develops. Now this is by no means the most exciting one of these beds he's put in there, but I acquired the tree fairly cheaply, so it was one I described and played around with. Once again, it wasn't the whole job with all those twists in it. Having said that, I still like the really twisted ones. So those two trees have sort of been developed from Hanh's technique, and then the final refinement is starting to happen now. Okay, so he's working his way up there. Did you ask whether he changed? Sorry, you want to know if he changed wires?
Yes.
And did you put new wire on there, or was that the same piece? Or one piece?
One piece.
One piece of wire, yeah.
I was reading for bottom looks showing the other top.
Oh, okay, no, just the one
I
piece.
use it in wire again.
Yeah.
It's still in your way. Ben?
Hans is putting wire on in quite a coil.
Quite,
A coil.
yeah,
I remember when Uchi was here, he was talking about 60 degrees. Here.
okay, let's ask him about that. When Uchi was here last year, you know, Uchi, the Japanese guy we had here?
Yeah.
Okay, when he would put these coils on, he would have them much, not as tight, more space. Why do you have them so tight?
So because he not bend harder, he just bend little bit. This way I need to bend more harder. That's why I need the wire more support. Otherwise, the wire, if you go far, sometimes might snap on the center.
So he's basically giving himself more wire on the outside of the curve.
That's the way different one.
You'll see in some books, if people put two strands of wire on, rather than put the two pieces of wire close together and in parallel, they'll put the second coil right in the middle, which pretty much has the same effect as what Hann's doing here. Now, I guess bear in mind, a lot of this, the wire there is probably going to do some of the holding, and he's also going to have probably guide wires and things that are actually going to hold the actual final bend in place, rather than just relying on wire to hold the final bend. So he's not taking a lot of care here, he's just wiring straight over the needles. Yeah, that doesn't worry you? No, it doesn't worry. Put a worry in me, but it doesn't worry. One thing I noticed too, ever since I've been doing bonsai for a long time anyhow, whenever I've been going to do heavy work on pines in particular, we've usually chosen winter to do it in. Now, the reasoning has usually been that in winter the sap is not flowing as much, so the bark is less likely to slip and peel off. I've seen Hanh do these sort of things in the middle of summer, some really, really hot days, so he's made me rethink, and I've seen him bend some substantial branches and trunks at that time. So it's made me rethink some of those things. Any reason why you're happy to do it in summer? I mean, I always did it in winter, but you're happy to do it in summer?
The reason is because I found out what happened in the wild or what happened in something in nature. So the tree, when they grow on the right time, like the springtime, the tree, they never bigger trunk, they never. When you measurement from here, from there, another 20 years the same, they never grow big. So what happened, when the tree, so they strong grow on the springtime. So I very lucky in Australia. That way I found out be cold. The weather in Australia, wow, terrible. Too strong wind, hot every day. That's the way I found out the first time. I don't know why. I go in the mountain and before I got the youth, no cover, right? And then I buy the tree. Wow. Put it up there, right in the mountain and go home. And I said, what happened? The tree looked like this. So then I found out that on time, that the middle springtime, but the weather like sometimes like 28, 30 something, but I go on the freeway, 110, that's strong wind. So then I saw the thing like this, then I see something, when I go in the mountain and on, I see the tree, the young bud, they grow very fast. Then, not enough water to supply because the weather too dry, too windy. After that, they go air, like this. And then I said, wow. let me think about it. I said, I want to buy that tree. And the other guy said, hey, this one very hungry, no water, nothing, they put like this, but I like it. So when I go home, I watering, they go like this. Before they go like that. Then the watering, they go that way and they go this way, they go up. That's the way I find out what happened in springtime. All the tree, the young bud, they start to grow, and then they got the problem with that. By the weather, by the wind. That's the way I find out. So the tree on one top of the candle like this, 1 year they grow, and the tree more taller. And all the energy, when we put fertilize everything in like, I think early in springtime, we fertilize that for nothing, not for the trunk. That for the flower, for the young bud, or the food. The old energy you put in that, they not put inside the trunk for the tree. Another reason I found out, because I measurement all the time.
Which you'll see on here.
That's why I measurement all the time.
These are the dates, they're the,
I know what happened when the trunk didn't get fed. That's why I find out why. The reason is,
you understand what he's saying there? He measures these and he's noticed the biggest thickness is happening.
when. So I can tell you, but don't try too hard, slowly, okay? It's summertime.
Personally, I don't grow plants, but
Now any tree,
other trees too?
any tree,
Okay.
any tree. You see, you remember the photo here, the bigger trunk? I just bend when you saw me, I bend. I'll take like that.
This is a parochial, parochial is fairly quick.
Yes,
They're
yeah.
not very subtle.
So the people can't see this one, so very hard to bend on that tree.
Can I tell them about your secret?
Yeah, you can tell.
Okay. What Han's been saying, okay, he drives home from the mountains, or on the road, reasonably hot day, 100k, so he's got strong winds. I went into his house inside one day and he had the heater on, it's in the middle of summer, and the fan blowing on his trees. But it seemed to work, so that's his secret.
Another reason. I can see I read another book in Japan. They wrote the block pie by ceramic pot. Like maybe terracotta, right? Yeah. Doesn't work for me. That if you bend hard on the tree, that doesn't work. So I like the plastic pot. So now you can see the plastic pot. So I start to work with the plastic pot. One whole year. See, then we use the wine like this. With the rubber. You can get this rubber from a large rubber. So put like this and hold like this. So when you put it down like this, okay, and then go another way like this. See? Then you can tie another one.
So how long are you going to leave that wire on before you put another lot of wire on?
Alright. If you do the wrong time, you take 4 years.
1 year.
Take 4 years.
4 years.
If you do the right time, you take 2 months.
So you do it summer, you do 2 months, you do it winter, years.
So even big like this, I still bend.
Yeah.
So you can see the other one look like a rabbit. Look like a rabbit. On the right, on the other way. No.
So we will get Hanh to bend one of these thicker ones a bit later on as well. So this is just the first step that he's going through.
So this one, before straight up, I read another book. They said just roll, maybe chop it here. And I see the other book from Kimber, from one tree from Dragon Dancing, from Grandmother from Japan. And I see the tree look like that. I have to think it that way. I just bend. This one I bend on the January.
Right.
Now it's February. When I bend here, I just take the rubber out on the scale here, like this.
And you put rubber on that one and then
And I bend this one. The problem is, if the bottom here we got too many trunk, too many red like this, we need to remove straight away. All the way here, you can see here, small one, the other one small one, this one look very ugly. So when you roll the tree, everything, I line some small one like this. They're not damaged on the tree. So a lot of people they tell me, and I heard a lot of matter, they said block pine they never back back. That's not true. That's not true. If you roll the right one, the right soil, they back back anywhere. They lie. I think the other one. So they come back. The more you cut on the top brand here, the more they come back on the bottom.
There you go. You can see this one's pulling back all the way down here.
On there, the large there,
Right down there.
the low brand. The more you cut the brand, low brand, the more they come back.
Cut the low branches later.
But when you need it for the tree, when you come back to do the tree, that's why I don't need all the low brand here. They back back everywhere.
Sorry, that's in your way. We were talking earlier too, just while Hanh was talking about this one anyway. Someone asked Hanh about the wire marks on this tree here. This is the white pine. Because of the speed it's growing thing, that wire is growing, damage is growing out really, really quickly. So it's not really an issue. I'm not sure how long ago that wire marks was in there, but if you have a close look,
That's been,
Here,
that's been last year.
growing out. Okay, so that's last year's stuff, but it's growing out almost already. So for him, it's not a big issue. Yes, you don't want wire marks on a mature tree that's in its refinement stage because it's not growing quickly, so the wire marks stay there for a long time. And something like this, if it's growing very quickly, for him, it's not an issue.
when is that tree fairly dry? When was the last time that was watered?
I don't know. I go to work with the hero. I go to work with some other. It's here, rough here. Okay, but rough here. Okay, but the rough here, we need to put in the water. Yeah, right? Then we put it here. So you can see in the springtime. So the weather very dry anywhere, the mountain, the city, anywhere, all right? And the tree, they're very dry, no water, nothing, they're very flexible. That's why they can fall down like that. They can go like this. After that, they got the energy, they got the water running, they go up again. So I can see all a wild weather in Queensland, anywhere in the world. What happened? So storm, everything, all the trees broken, all the rain broken. But the summertime, too strong wind, too hot, no tree broken. What happened? Why we didn't plant down something like that?
So you don't water the tree, do you
No.
make any, you don't water them
No.
before you do this bending? So that's been dry for a couple of days maybe?
This one, I think 2 months I didn't water.
2 months. That's a worry.
I tell you,
There goes nothing.
I tell you, that tree, the same with that tree. All I've been working for, and this one, before I see the root system not strong enough, that's why I let one side. Then later on I forget. And now, where are they? Inside there. That way I work. So, some tree, very old, easy to bend. Very young, not easy.
So there, Ian, you were asking before, I mean, a lot of that bend is just being held in place by the tire wires, not by the actual wire that's wrapped around it. That's, the wire around it is actually there.
So now I take this one up. So what happened? Again,
Now, you're obviously doing this with black pine tonight, and I've seen you do it with other species. Is there any, you would have to work much slower with some of the other species, like Walkeroki, for instance? Can't do as quick, it takes you a much longer time.
like this. So we need another 1 month. Slowly work it on, slowly work it on. So the thing I work, that's the one. How that? Never give any claim by the school or the board. Never. Never. Become out of the control. And this one, when put by only by hand, that way, when they get very hard, we know we can't put it in again. Alright? And when you tie up the bow, sometimes might be over. That way, very easy to spin.
So you all understand what he's saying there?
So, that's the first step. I don't worry about on the front or the back, everything. I don't worry anything about that. I just work it on. And after that, tree stable, everything okay. Then bend again, bend again, bend again. So, maybe this one, maybe another 2 years or 3 years, they big like that. So something like that, you can bend like this and you can choose like this. So no problem. See, that way how we work, sometimes we can work it down like this, and then we choose it up. So one hand I can hold here, I choose it up, and the other hand I can touch this one, go on the top. So, and some people they say, oh, too hard. It's not hard. And some people go in the farm, they roll 1 tree block pine. I buy too many from Paul Sweeney, block pine. Digging around, I buy too many, right? Strong like that. I thinking, 8 years already, doesn't work anything. Still there, don't touch. They die. I can't work anything. So that's the way I think I read a lot of book. That's why I didn't do different way. Spend less money, but the tree is quality.
Sorry, so you're saying doing it your way,
Yeah.
you end up with quality trees rather than
And that money can be buy another one.
one. Sorry, I understand what you're saying.
So,
Why two by, instead of buy one from the other guy?
I buy like this, so I can buy maybe someone else sell for me $7 each, about 3-5 years over, more higher. So I can buy 10 trees, only $70. So I buy one tree from Sweden, they charge me $220. And 8 years later, now I still look at the tree. What I'm doing with that tree? So what I'm doing, I'm work different way because I say I buy 10 trees like this, only $70. I buy another 10 trees, only $140, right? I work when they die, only 4 left. I still win.
Yeah.
See, and that someone else asked me, you work in the nursery, how long? 10 years. So you got any tree you work by yourself? I said, yes, I did. There. Right? And so I go to, Leon Guam, Bonsai South, Bonsai South in Sydney. Right? When I go in there, he said, you come by my Wi-Fi, I said, only that day, I said, what can I do? Just start my business. And when he bought my Wi-Fi, go up there, and he said, you never see my block file collection. I said, right. Then I go in there with Van, you know Van?
Yeah.
I go with Van. I said, where's your collection? He said, in the cave. I said, and when he told me, he said, what about the shelves? Oh, 35 trees, the same. Everything the same. I say, well, matter from American, from ABC convention. He said, right. And you work what do you work with what? I said, hey, I just start, mate. And then he said, hey, this way, only 2 way, mate. I said, what about 2 way and 4 way? He said, yes. 4 way, that 4 wing, north, south, east, west. That way we need to work the tree nearly the same. Even some tree, they in the mountain, they got a rock cover. That's why they can't go up there because the rock cover. They got 2 strong wind this way. They go this way. But the nature, the top one, they still follow the sun. That's why they still go up. But the wind, they would lie this side and they lie the other side. But that naturally, they still got 4 wind. That's why I have to thinking how to work the tree like this, like that, like this. You know where that tree printed?
Do I know where it came from?
Yeah.
No, sure.
This one, the one I put the ladder to work up there, I didn't see anything, that one. But this one from Don DeLuca. He wrote 8 years, I wrote 6 years. Totally 14 years. So before that tree living not well, that's why I did one side. So I didn't touch anything. So when tonight I said, I clean up, I said, look, you can see the tree, they not go one way, they go how many different ways. That's the nature. So when we work in the bonsai, anywhere in the world, we have to copy by the nature. We have to follow the nature. And sometimes, when you bend the tree, not that way, but that way, you have to see what they go in. So when I go, put my hand there, I put here, I go this way. But when you put it the other way,
Much harder.
harder. All right. So when you put another way harder, so I have to do something like that. What they look like? The bonsai. What about I go up here?
Better.
See? So if you do that way, I go this way, right? The why when you bend, if the tree you have to work it out, the tree to go this way. When you bend, you turn the tree this way. The wire have to go that way too. Not go opposite. Otherwise you never bend.
So in other words, wire in the direction that you're going to twist the tree. So if you're twisting the tree around that way, you'll wire around that way as well.
Sometimes you don't know which way you're going to twist them to do.
Well, that's what he's saying. You've got to work with the way the tree wants to go. If it's difficult, I mean, if that's the best option, if it absolutely doesn't, well, you just got to do as well as you can.
The tree, when you straight up like that, when you work, not straight up, by the hand go like this. They always like a circle, like a block. You know why? Because the earth, they turn one day with the moon and with the sun. Okay? And 360 days, you go different way again. That's why why the bonsai they have to go look like the half circle. Because the sun, the morning they go to eat, light sun. And the midday, the heavy sun. And then, the afternoon, the light sun. That way they go like that.
Heavy sun, light sun, and in the east, when it comes up, it's less intense, more intense. And midday, less intense again.
That way, sometimes the tree, they got inside here, the bone, they not go straight up. They go like this. That way, if you go wrong way, we need to know where you go, have to go. And when you want
There's
to go,
probably a PhD in that, I think.
when you go like this, right? For me, when I go like this, that part here, that very long, that way I can go like this, easy, right? But the short one, don't go like that. And then I can go different way. Because this one, sometimes the wind they play like this, ping, 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 like this. That's right. And sometimes the wind go this way, ping, ping, ping. So what can we do? That's the nature. That's why we have to walk by the nature. So this one, I think, that one. Oh, wrong way?
So how long ago was that? How long ago did you water that?
Now, when did you last water this tree? 2 months? 3 weeks? A long time.
No. This one wet.
Oh,
This one's wet. This one I watered yesterday.
Okay.
This one I watered yesterday. The bigger one, you need to go different way, not the same way.
What do you mean not the same way?
More shorter.
You mean the wire close together? Okay.
So we need 2 rounds on the bottom first. Then go.
So will you ever use raffia again or any of that stuff? No bother?
No raffia, no nothing.
So that's Hanh. He doesn't use raffia, but any of you guys who are going to do workshop with Hero and them, I'd still bring raffia because he prefers to use raffia. I'm not saying it's wrong, but you work with
With raffia, do you get paid parking?
well, certainly not all the raffias are. I have seen them back, but the raffias come off. I've actually, strangely enough, I've raffiaed up junipers and taken the raffia off and found roots under the raffia that have grown while the raffia's been on them. So,
I'm twisted an Atlantic sea before, and beams that were put into that basically. Everybody suggested I cut these branch off. It's absolutely.
so is your favourite material black pine? Or you don't care?
I don't care.
You don't care? I've seen those of you who have grown the shooty black pine. In my experience, it's fairly brittle, but I have seen do some pretty intense damage on that as well. Certainly no one has had all the corky bark on it, but in the younger phases. So he still manages to do it on pretty much anything.
The problem is, the Nishiki, if you work it on Nishiki, like they under the trunk, they're under 20 mil or under 25 mil. When I work, it doesn't work.
So it's got to be over 25 mil.
Must be over 25 or 30 mil.
What happens if you do it below 25 mil?
Because below 25 mil, sometimes the rafting, they're not strong enough.
Oh, okay, so you're saying if you put the wire in here, you start doing the graft will break off.
Yeah, and on here, sometimes you just little bit there,
Yeah.
and I think maybe they snap somewhere on the rafting. And after that, the water not support the top.
Okay.
And then when the water not supply on the top, because we bending too heavy, that way the tree need a lot of water.
If say you bend this tree, or like this one here and this one you're going to do tonight. Now, do you put that under shade for any period of time, or go straight out in the sun? Do you
Straight up to the building.
straight on top of it? Yeah, those of you who haven't been home places, he has a lot of trees on top of his garage at the back. And that's obviously full sun, full wind conditions there. So he has no problem putting him up in those conditions. We're getting back to what we said about doing this stuff earlier, the tree's life, even that really old pine just on the end there on top of the trolley there. Now, obviously those beds were put in many, many years ago, so that's what we're trying to do is really good beds, and then the trunks in 50 years time or whatever will be really fabulous material. So that's the aim of this sort of thing, is to create really good material for the future. Sylvester's Scots pine, you do it with Scots pine?
I do Scott pine, but it's not popular.
Okay, so
That's why
Scots pine,
I sell some Scott pine, but a lot of people they don't like it. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know why. I think Scots pine's great, but that's maybe you've just got to do more, and I'll come and buy them.
Now I got a project for the black pine. They're similar like this. I think the same size like this. Same size like this. I think 60 already. But you know how big a pot? You know how big a pot?
The 60, yeah, so what is a big pot? You have to grow. They slower to get thick.
They're in 1 inch pot.
Oh, okay, they're in 1 inch pots and they're
The plastic pot.
That's Scots pine.
Black pine.
Oh, black pine, sorry. So there's black pine gets thicker quicker than Scots pine.
Get thicker, stronger, less slow than the Scots pine.
Okay. So that's one reason you would
Yeah.
prefer it.
So when you roll the black pine, when you roll like this, 6-year-old, you roll the bigger pot like this, you never get to the result. When you're bending, doing everything, you never get any. Maybe you bend 50 tree, you lock about 45 to 46 tree, you got only few.
Okay. So you get much better result with black pine.
So when you roll the black pine 6-year-old like this, I think the pot might be about 2 inch or 1 inch, not bigger than this. But when you roll the bigger pot like this, when you're bending, you do in everything, then you put the bigger pot. When you roll like the one I roll 2 inch, we need another maybe few more years. The root system, you got a lot of fungus. And when you bend, you got a lot of energy, the fungus supply to the tree. You don't need to fertilize it.
Oh, you talk about the mycorrhiza. Yeah. Okay. So mycorrhiza is a symbiotic fungus that grows with the black pine, with pine tree, and helps them absorb fertiliser much more easily, so you can put less fertiliser on. I think there's a bit of discussion whether if the tree is well fertilised, probably the mycorrhiza may not develop in the pots, because it's not necessary. So it's probably a bit of a trade-off. Probably get the same result whether it's got mycorrhiza or not, just depending on how you fertilise.
So how often would you repot your pines, or do you not repot?
I got one tree from Brand, the first one from Kamatani, from Springwell. He hold the fort about 4 years. Brand he hold that tree for 9 years, and I hold that tree for 10 years, totally 23 years. I didn't report anything.
So when you do finally put it into a bonsai pot,
Yeah, they the bonsai pot.
Oh,
23 years. I didn't do anything.
And is it a healthy tree?
But-
Yeah.
That is.
but from one of these black plastic pots, how often would you repot that to prepare it for a bonsai pot? Like, would the root structure be?
So this one, when you want to put in the bonsai pot, when they nearly completely finished, you need to dry the small pot. So like example, I think this one about 25. You take the pot, the bonsai pot about 20, like a circle, and cut a little bit. And then you roll like this, and you repot like this in the bonsai pot, another 2 or 3 years. Then you transfer again the small pot, some pot again.
So the second time you repot it, then you start scraping out the roots?
Okay.
So best time to repot them? Best time?
I read a book in Japan. It says later in autumn.
Like water going up?
Mostly, I put in the tree in the pot in autumn. I don't put in the spring.
So traditionally we...
Now you can do it.
Sorry?
Now you can do it, please.
Yeah, well, traditionally we've done, and I probably still will persist in doing it, is probably mid-August, around about then, just, very early spring. Hanh is doing it any time. I guess a lot depends on how much root work that we do on the trees. I'm not going to argue with you, but I know I'll stick with early spring for me.
I know Kerry Anderson planted black pine in March.
Oh yeah, look, I've done it in that time, but I'm picking the optimum time for my conditions.
Unfortunately, I lost it given that 40 degree.
Quentin, do you remember the David Blackpine?
Yeah, the big one.
The big one?
Yeah.
I start the bending November. And then,
This is a pine, mind you, the bit that Hanh bent, I reckon, was that big. Yep, maybe that big. That's how it was up quite high. And it was a very tall tree. It was probably, I don't know, probably when he started almost the height of the roof here. So the bit when he bent it was about that thick. And he started, as he says, in November and gradually brought it right down.
I noticed that tree is a haircut too, but none of the others.
yeah.
How come?
Which one?
The one you're working on now,
You've cut all the needles on this one, but not on any of these. Why is that?
Which one?
No, you, on this one,
Yeah.
everything cut, all needles cut. On these ones, not cut. Why?
Because this one, I will cut the needle on November.
So that's already been done. Okay. So when did you cut these? Just yesterday, today?
Just today.
Just today.
So when will they be redone?
Right?
When will you do those ones again?
Next year?
Next year?
That's stainless steel. You can see this one is stainless steel. So when you bend like this,
I'd help, but I'm afraid by touch. It'll probably break. I'm not touching this.
You might have another one somewhere already done.
Quentin, did you repot the tree that she worked on?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't repotted it. It won't get repotted for...
Because he was pretty adamant the elements of it.
Yeah, I didn't want it. I won't.
Yep.
It won't get repotted until it's a lot more advanced.
Yeah.
Might need you to hold it.
You want me to hold it?
He's got that lower branch in his face as he's trying to bend it, so.
Bottom branch,
Okay, so there's a fair size bend gone in that part, in here, so I'm sure it'll get a lot tighter than that.
so this one we already bent before. So now you can try again.
Yep. Anybody remember what style Lindsay Bev came up for this type of style? Anybody want to? Oh, go on, Steve, you know what it was. Oh, you were I've forgotten.
This is where Brett said Don DeLuca.
Yeah, but
Yeah, let's not in this country. It was heading in that direction, yes.
Okay, so he's tightening that up more every time, and if you notice what he's doing, okay, he's tightened this one. If he goes back to work on it again, he'll work on that. So he's alternating between the bends, so each one gets a little bit of rest before he does the next bit. And that's been done in, I don't know what, 15, 20 minutes he's been working on that tree. And over, you know, if he wanted to over the next, I don't know, maybe do some more work tonight, but if he wanted to over the next few hours, next couple of days, or do this one, it could become a lot tighter. So this is one that's had all that treatment.
When we work like this, we take about 2 hours to refill. When you refill, slowly, 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 not too heavy. can try with that. If you work by yourself, you can do anything about that. You can do like this. See, slowly, slowly, and then take another one.
Okay, so this guy here has had a fair bit of work done on it. Did you want to say that? No?
I was just going to say, have a 10-minute break. Everyone? Grab some coffee, 10-minute break.
Okay.
15-minute break, just grab some coffee.
Grab some coffee, come up and
Have a
ask
seat.
Hanh.
Yeah, come up, ask Hanh and stuff. Library books, graphic tickets. You name it. Good job, Penny. It's good.
Australian natives only. It's a really lovely tree. Well worth having a look. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks for it all for me.
It's Saturday, Sunday, this weekend. Get on the top.
There's a few up there. Oh, and
only one person signed up for the roster for the show. Come on, guys. Come on, thank you. Just remember, roster for the show. Our show as well in July. Yep.
Okay, here we go. Now, you've seen Hanh do it. There was one question. Where is Hanh?
He's got a cup of tea.
Someone asked, come back there. So you've seen Hanh do all this. You go to his nursery, you pick something else out. Now what do you do? So that's what I'm going to go through now. First of all, there's a question asked, with all this bending and stuff that's happening here, will we get any reverse taper? You know how we want taper going up like that? Will we get sort of taper going the other way? For instance, you're getting a lot of, where you've got heavy bends, you're getting expansion there. Is that going to be something that will stay forever? Will that grow out in time and we get good taper?
So usually before they go like this, that way I have to put that way go the other side, right? You see that? Sorry. Yeah. That way we can move here on it, we go that way.
The question was though from here it's thicker here than it is down the bottom. So the question was, it's thicker here on some of these heavy bends than it is at the base. So that's what reverse taper is. We really want the trunk to be thicker at the bottom and then get tapered as it goes to the top. Will that tend to grow out as you
told you, usually I think before they got too many brands on the
So you can think too many. On this one, for instance, there's a fair bit of reverse tape at this point, but there was some heavy branches there that were left there too long. Yeah, so that's pull that out. Hopefully in time that will disappear.
shape.
Okay, so and this one too. So hopefully those sort of problems will grow out.
That the first when we got the blow brand really big, that's a big problem.
Personally, I put up a little bit of reverse taper if I can get this sort of material. But it's a valid question. Okay, so you've gone to the nursery. What do you do with it when you're confronted with something like this? There's nothing like your traditional curve with your left, right, where you're going to get left, right, back down.
So with that reverse tape then, where you've got the thin one, the new shoes, and that thick one, is the truck coming up here?
Here.
No, in the middle, straight in front of me.
On the top of the loop.
Yeah.
Would you then cut that one out, gin it, and then use that thin one to come up? Is that still?
Well, this is what I'm saying, that where you have got some thickening is where it's left a branch grow too long. It's too strong for too long. So you probably would try to remove that earlier on in the tree's development. As far as styling this tree up now, that branch will go in. Okay, so you're confronted with this and you've picked the tree out. You're no longer looking at your traditional twist thing with left, right, back. You've got to deal with this sort of thing. So where do you go? When I was over at Hanh's late last week, and really we just looked at a couple of trees, something that we could knock up a reasonable looking tree fairly quickly tonight. Sometimes some of these other trees will take a bit more time than thought. So we looked at this one and thought, well, okay, really we've got, for me, we've only got a couple of options. We can come you're looking at the front of the tree, so I'm working from the back. So all this is obviously the really exciting part of the tree. Now we can come down here and produce a tree here with a little bit of a, like a cascade, if you like, semi-cascade coming down through here. This will be the head of the tree, this will be the tail. Or we can come down and up through here, remove that, and then produce a head up here. So it would involve removing all of this stuff here. That was pretty much the main options I saw. I mean, there's no point in using that grass because, yeah,
Could you bring the top one down as well to make a pad above the wall?
there is a possibility of doing that. The way I see it, they're both fairly equal in thickness. I could do that, but I'm not going to. What I am going to do is keep both options open because this still belongs to Hanh. We can sell it at respective buy, they can do whatever they like. So I'm going to remove this guy. I'll leave these things as potential gins, etc. These little guys there's no good for gins, so all those little ones are going to come out. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so now we've almost removed everything that we're not even going to think about. I'm not going to keep that under there. And I'm not going to keep that under there. So you can see now we've really isolated the fantastic twists and bends in that. And remember, we're looking, you know, hopefully 20 years down the track, even more. I like to think this tree's going to be ready in 60 years' time, and someone will be buying it or growing it and think, geez, you know, what genius sort of got all that up 60 years ago.
I'll send an email.
This is the genius that did it. Okay, so now we've got still down to there. Now I don't like this bit going straight up here, so that's going to come off. Okay, so now we've got our two options are starting to present themselves. I'm going to leave both options there so that Hanh can decide, or his customer, one of you guys, when you go there next week and want to buy it, you can decide where you want to go with it.
That little shoot in the front on the loop.
Here.
No, right back on the early loop.
Here.
First, please.
Oh, yeah, no, that's important. I wanted that one. That's going to be a gym in future. Don't worry about that.
I wondered why you don't look to removing it.
Okay, so I'm going to just take out the head there. So really, so far, even though the trees are quite complex there, most of those decisions, obviously I've seen the tree before, but they were all made very quickly. We didn't think very much about where we were going to go with this tree. Some of the things were obvious that they had to come on. So yes, they look complex, but we can break them down fairly simply. Okay, now we need to go through and I'm going to take off all these little guys here. And now it's a matter of Hanh's gone through and trimmed off quite a lot of the needles here. In theory, I would go through and just trim them back a little bit more. We have to wire over all those things. You can either trim them back or cut them back or even pull them back. We might want some budding out of those, and as he showed, they do go back very easily. So it's going to be roughly wide tonight over the top of those needles. Now, we have a couple of options here too. If we go with this one, if we go with that one, there is some potential we can still pull that right over there or tilt the whole thing forward. Personally, I'd probably go and try and push that forward there, over that way. So whoever buys it might have to re-up some Rio bars that you can pull it forward with, or pull it forward onto the pot bed.
Sometimes
Or
we can
around
do
like
something like that. Then we can easy by hand, just easy.
So you can easily get a bit of Rio bar to do that. You don't have to have a
So
stainless steel
when
thing.
you do something like that, we need a heavy rubber, something like that.
Heavy rubber in here so we don't damage the bark, okay?
So when you can do like this,
We want to do that now? You got enough bits of rubber? No, put it so we can, actually probably better,
so maybe this one too long. I think you need one.
so which one? Oh, whichever one you want to use. Is that going to be long? Yes, okay, that's fine.
Rubber's too low.
Yeah, rubber on the lower one.
That's all right, we'll fix it. We'll fix it.
Both of rubbers are too low.
And let's put that rubber up. Okay, there you go. So basically, even though we've done all these bends, there will be minor adjustments you'll have to do. And in some cases, maybe major adjustments. Like that little guy there, it might look much, but that was a pretty intense bend that I had to put in. So,
Is that stainless steel?
yeah, it doesn't have to be stainless steel. It can be just a bit of Rio bar, anything like that, will do the job. Okay, so that's brought that forward enough now. Cut that stuff off. So now it's really a fairly simple matter of just wiring all this up. Take a bit more out of here. I'm really only wanting two shoots at any one point, so that's all I'm doing there, is sending that out. Same up here, I might let three actually, because this will be probably the top of it. Comes down there, I'll keep that, I don't know if I'll use it, but I'll keep it if that can go. So, almost down to nothing. Now we want to bring that around there, so I'm going to have to get some fairly heavy wire on that. Pull out these small ones. Keep the shortest one here.
Same side? Okay. I take the big one first, right?
Okay, so that's everything cut off that I need to cut off, so now I need some wire just to start on that piece of wire. I want some, yeah, probably 40, stick build. No, that's fine, that's fine.
Actually stretching the fibres, You're stretching the fibres.
So you can pass, you can test how hard this one and how soft this one. That's the way you know how to do it.
Because you just already.
Any grade, hard one or soft one doesn't matter. Get the water, even 46 degrees, up to the roots. Quentin asked me, have you water that way? I said no, for that, 46 degrees, no problem. That way I found out in Australia, in Melbourne, we get not very good weather, very itchy or something like that. that's the way I hand down how to bend. In Japan, about 32, 33, not hot like Melbourne. Windy, that's the way I hand down how to work.
Okay, so this tree now has just had its initial styling, getting its initial styling. It will then be grown on for probably 12 months, and then you start thinking about your refinement with needle plucking, ramification, reduction in needle size, all that sort of stuff. So tonight, not even worried about any of that. You only really start worrying that once you get your final structure there, then you can start thinking about all that fancy stuff. I work and I'm bending my tree, the heavy one and the soft one. I always use this one. But you must be fine, not from China, not from Japan. So you can add tension, double. You can print it here like this, or you can do everything this one, but very easy and very cheap. Otherwise you buy heavy plant, something like that, sometimes you overbend. I think only half mil you overbend, only half mil. That's why this one you yield when you bend, you not use for anything like this, for bending, never. You must be bend like this by 2 fingers, like me. So when they're very tight, and you know how flexible they are, and when they sometimes, like to die, and now you bend, but when you put outside in the sun, outside, tomorrow they're very hard, easy. Okay, I've pretty much shaped up the bottom one, so just keep in mind that I can't anticipate keeping both of these. So that tree there, or the bottom tree, this one, or whatever I turn out of this one. Someone can make that decision down the track. I'll finish this one off.
when you say you don't intend keeping both, Quentin, can I ask if you mean the entirety of this would have to go if you kept that, or just this would have to go if you kept that?
No, all this will be ginned off here. If I want to keep that, yeah, so that all goes for that.
Okay.
One or the other. I like to buy one personally, but it's an option that whoever wants to buy the tree can decide.
Do you want your eye on that piece up there?
And there's always a good reason for whoever does buy is to keep both pieces initially, just to keep a bit of thing going up through the tree. You know, you can decide 12 months' time which one you want to keep. You don't have to do it straight away.
So is your way?
Yep. What was that noise we just heard?
Probably me breaking in right now. See now you can look the tree, now different, you can join this one, low end, then you can turn this one on the top, serving cat cake, something like that. And then you can add this one more from upright. Or you can turn the other tree, go this different way, you can put it down here like serving cat cake again. That way, one tree you need to decide from upright, in from upright, then, but a lot juice, then you easily turn it down like semi-cake or full cake. See that? Don't worry about that.
So crack.
Don't worry about that. They hear what that.
Yeah, see what?
I got the tree next door from the dessert asked to come near the road near my side, right? So I told Quentin, you want to take it up? Quentin said, no, too big one. Another lesson, but we never know. So I take off the skin, I want to kill that tree. I take off like this. I take off everything like this. I want to kill the tree. I take off everything like this. So you think they die? I take off everything like that. You think on the top die? Right? Any tree.
You should, unless you've got an air layer.
The new skin, I think this one died. They didn't die. But the new skin, they not grow on the top. They not grow on the bottom. On the top, they grow up on the bottom. What a funny thing. Yeah, that's why sometimes we take out the skin, we don't worry about the tree die. They don't die.
So how far would you need to go as far as air layers? Would you need to go deeper?
No, I want to kill that
No,
tree.
but if you were air
If you
layer,
wanted to air layer, you would need to go
50 deeper.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't like to do
But for me, the black fly airplane doesn't work.
that. No.
Doesn't work, but not strong. You still wait for a few more years.
Okay, I've pretty much finished all I want to do on it tonight. So we have an option that going off, keeping that going off, keeping the top part, one or the other. Keep in mind this will bud back along here in different places so we can get more branches in here, same up here. So this time next year we can then come back and do the next phase, more branches, more ramifications. And maybe eventually into a good pot.
Sorry, why would you need to cut one or the other? Would you keep them right?
We could, but I don't think the tree works with both myself. No, I would remove one. I think it would be a better tree without one.
Oh, the top.
I like, we could, but for me, I'd rather just keep one, verticalised, do what they like with it really. And look, there may be options too for tightening all this stuff up, all these little bends in here, because you've got all this bend, all these sharp bends here. There's probably a good case for squeezing that up in there. So you can see that bend there, it's fairly lazy. It would be a good case for squeezing all that up much tighter than there. But that can be done, and there is snap bend, it's not snap. So there's a good case for whoever buys it doing some more work. If I want to keep that one, that's very easy to tighten up. That's very easy to tighten up. All you've got to do is put a guy wire between there and screw it down with one of Hahn's things or one of the clamps, whatever you want to use. Same on that. So that's easy to tighten up. As is this is quite easy to tighten up as well. As I said, once you've got the bend there, it's easy. It's getting the first bend in there. So I think we're finished for the night. Yep, that's it.
So I hope everybody enjoyed that. That was great. So who votes for the lower? Who votes for the higher? Who votes for the lower? Higher?
I'm undecided.
So tonight we've got to put the seats and tables back in order. That would be great if you guys can help out. We're going to draw the raffle, so grab a raffle ticket. We'll give you 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, to grab a raffle ticket. And those little black pines, if you want to do what Hanh does, they're $5 over there. So support Hanh if you can. Thank you, everyone. See you next month.
Some people want those, some people want